Why do you think it wasn't a level playing field for so long, Greg? What's the main reason behind that?
Well, they didn't have a test, and I don't think they thought a lot about it. But there was negligence to me when you had multiple riders dying. You know, although it was a confusing period, so it took some hard evidence. But you know, although when you're by '93, everybody knew what was going on, and I know that if we knew, then people governing this sport had to know. I mean, if you didn't, you're negligent because you had riders at 25 to 30 years old dying, and that's not right. So, and I got a letter yesterday from the UCI. They're trying to sue me for saying that I believe they're corrupt. Although my attorney wrote back 2 years ago, and I got 2 letters from the UCI threatening to sue me because I said something slanderous about the UCI, calling them corrupt. But the Webster's Dictionary of corruption is that when there's a governing body who doesn't do their best to live up to the ethics and morals to protect the people they're governing, they're corrupt. And that's what I was talking about. I wasn't pinpointing any person. It was, the fact is, there's been enough evidence, there's been enough stuff that the maximum hasn't been done. And I think there's a lot of improvement. And, you know, I've talked to Michael Ashton, leading doping experts. I mean, with his ideas, I think you can eliminate 98% of the advantage of doping, and that's what needs to happen.
One of the smallest American rider contingents here in several years. Does that say anything to you about the state of American cycling?
No, the state of American cycling. There are more people riding bikes right now than the state of racing. You know, it's a generation right now. You had Tyler Hamilton's out, Floyd Landis is out, Armstrong stopped. I mean, you have these riders who are out of the sport. Now you got Taylor Phinney that's coming up. You have other riders that are out there that are coming up. I mean, it was when I retired, everybody's like, oh, the sport's dead, but there's a whole other generation. There's going to be another generation. Although, I mean, I've made a suggestion to the Cycling Federation that they should stop focusing on the elite program, the Olympics, World Championships, and you know, I suggested a high school racing program, time trials, team time trials. There's 4,000 kids in Minneapolis or Minnesota that in the winter they compete. They train together. They compete in cross-country skiing, and you know, why can't we do that in cycling? Can you imagine drawing 200,000 high school kids into cycling? Because I believe that for the diabetes, for the problem of obesity, diabetes. Great book out there called Spark, written by Dr. John Ratty, that I've had multiple discussions with. It shows the benefits of high-intense aerobic exercise. Preschool, Naperville, Illinois, school district, 19,000 kids, students. Their obesity rates 3% versus the national average 30%, and their SAT and GPA scores are up 20 to 25% with only because of exercise. I mean, kids today have gone our kids go from dark indoors to dark indoors at home, dark indoors, no sunlight, back home to computers and TV, and you know, it's amazing. There's not more. That is part of depression. Sun helps produce serotonin, and you got these kids that have no physical activity, no sunlight. I mean, there's such a huge place for improvement with the health of our kids. I'm actually participating in I have a group, two businessmen that we're working on a pilot program on my son's high school with hopefully 2 major companies that are going to participate. The academics are going to change, but the biggest part is going to be that there's going to be a forced or a mandatory fitness hour before school, where the chemicals that happen with exercise, it charges the brain to be able to retain memory and you know, I was a kid that had ADD, and I know that had I been exercising just before school, I probably would have gotten a lot better grades. So,